So we have to write mathematical model for random signals, okay? Because all real-time signals are random signals, so we have to write mathematical form for random signals. That can be possible with this subject, probability theory and stochastic process, okay? So in that probability, we will be mainly discussing about two things, that is random variables and random process. Random process and stochastic process both are same. Okay, in random process, what we do, we will be writing random phenomena. We have to represent random phenomena of a random signal, yes or no? So to represent mathematical form of random phenomena of a signal, we use random variable. So random variable is used to represent random phenomena of random signal. Okay, and whenever we want to analyze the signal should be represented in terms of time. Okay, to write the signal in terms of time, we will be using another mathematical model. That mathematical model is called random process. Okay, so using random variable and random process, we can represent any random signal. Okay, so once you are able to represent random signal, we can process the random signals. Okay, so whatever signals occurring in real time, all the signals are random in nature. Okay, so that is why we have to process the random signals. To process the random signals, we have to use this random variables and random process. Okay, so that we will be getting mathematical form. Okay, that we have discussed in the last class. Okay, so we have discussed that what is the random signal. Last class we have discussed all this. Okay, now we just start with to understand this probability. First, we have to understand probability. Then only we can understand what is random variable. Okay. To understand probability, first we will be discussing what is set theory. Once you know what is set theory, so then it is easy to understand probability, so that we can understand random variables. Then we can understand random process. Okay. So once you understand all these topics thoroughly, you are able to write any random signal in mathematical form. Okay, so that we can analyze the random signals. Okay, so what is a set? Set is nothing but collection of objects. Okay, so and the objects, what we call objects are called, sorry, objects are called elements or members of the set. Okay, so for example, you take a set of voltages. Usually you will be having set of voltages, no? When you measure the voltages, whatever the voltage you get, all the voltages we will be writing in the form of a set. Okay, so for example, first time when you measure, you get 2 volts, 3 volts, 5 volts, 10 volts, like that. We'll be representing all that in a square bracket. We have to represent the set values under square, in the square bracket. Okay, oh sorry, flower bracket. We'll be using flower brackets to represent the set values, and the set usually denoted with the capital letters, and the elements of the set will be denoted with the small letters. Okay, and say for example, if any set is belongs to capital A. Okay, if any set is belongs to capital A, we will be using, like this. Set, say A is belongs to capital A, so we'll be writing like this. A belongs to capital A. How do we write set values? Set values will be denoted like this. A is equal to, set values will be denoted like this. A is equal to, we write all the set values. We just know, we have discussed set of voltages. For example, you get 2 volts, 5 volts, 10 volts, 20 volts. Okay. Under this flower bracket, we will write all the set values. Okay. So capital A is to represent the set, and say for example, you have set of vowels, that is A, E, I, O, U. Okay. The set elements we have to represent with the small letters, whereas the set we will be representing with the capital letter. Okay. So this we have discussed that. So here small a belongs to capital A. Yes or no? Set small a belongs to capital A. How do we write it? This belongs. This is the symbol we use to represent whether that set is belongs to capital A. Now here there is no B in set A. No? B is not belongs to A. So how do we write this? B is not belongs to A, like that we will be writing. Okay. So what is empty set? Empty set is nothing but null set. How do you represent this? We will be just representing, there is no element in between this flower brackets. You should not represent any element in between the flower bracket. Then it is called empty set. Okay. And actually we have two ways to represent a set. If you have a set, we have two ways to represent the set. The first method is using tabular column method. Okay, so we use tabular method to represent the set. The second one is to represent by using rule-based method, rule method. Okay, so these are the two methods to represent the set: tabular method and rule method. What is tabular method? Tabular method is nothing but like this one. For example, you have set A is equal to, it is having the elements from 5 to 10. Okay, how do you write this? We'll be writing like this: 5 to 10. What are the natural numbers you have from 5 to 10? All that you'll be having in the set A. How do we write this? It is equal to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Then, for example, if you want to represent by using rule based, how do we represent rule based? Usually, rule based is used to represent when set value is if set is very large. In that case, we use rule based to represent the set. Okay. For example, A is equal to, so it is integers from 1 to 1000, because we cannot write the values 1 to 1000, no, 1 2 3 4 5 so on till 1000. Okay, so we cannot represent all the values. That is why we use rule based to represent the values when it is having more number of elements. So this way of representation is called rule based. Okay, in the coming topics and all, most of the cases will be using rule based. Okay, how do we represent rule based? For example, A is equal to, okay, so this in detail in this this can be represented in more general form like this. Say for example, set A is equal to having the values x. Okay, we have discussed that capital letters is used to represent the set name. Okay, small letters is used to represent the elements, yes or no? So set A is a capital letter. We are using A to represent the set, and the elements of set is x. Okay, so what are the elements of set? The set value is between 1 to 1000, where x is natural number. It is a natural number. Okay, like this we can represent the number. So this way of representation is called rule based. Okay, where if you are representing all the elements, then it is called tabular column based. Okay, so this like this we have two ways to represent the sets, that is tabular column method and rule based method. Okay. Now we discuss what is empty set. Empty set is nothing but it does not contain any element. Okay, it should not contain the value 0 also. So it should not contain 0 also. Then it is called empty set. Say for example, you take any set. If it is having value 0, it is not empty set. Okay, it is having one value. So this is not empty set. Okay, what is the value? It is having one element. It has the element value is 0. Okay, so this is not empty set. Okay, so for example, what are the empty sets? Here you can see the examples in the presentation. Okay, so a set of whole numbers less than 0. Whole numbers will start from 0 onwards. No, you don't have any whole number less than 0. So the set which is having whole numbers less than 0 is empty set. Similarly, a value is having x, where x value is between 2 and 3. Okay, where x is natural number. If you are taking natural numbers or integers, you don't have value between 2 and 3. Okay, so this is empty set. So A will be having no element. Okay, so if it does not have any element, then it is called empty set. So for example, here also, this is also similar to this. Okay, so this is another way of representing the rule based method of representing the set. So see here, x, see example C. Okay, in example C, here you can see n is equal to x, x belongs to capital N. Okay, x belongs to what is the set? Set is capital N. where x values between 3 and 4. Okay, where x is what? X is a natural number. Since x is a natural number, between 3 and 4 you don't have any value. So what is n? Set n is having 0, no elements. Okay, so since it is having no elements, this is called empty set or null set. Then finite set. A set which contains definite number of elements is called finite set. Okay. So if we are able to count number of elements in the set, then it is called finite set. Okay. So there should be one-to-one correspondence between the elements in a set with the natural numbers. Okay. So whatever elements you have, you are able to allocate natural numbers to that. Okay. See, for example, here p, so for where element 2, we can allocate one-to-one correspondence with the natural number. So this is first element, second element, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, like that. We have one-to-one correspondence with the natural number. So this element, this set, the elements of set should have one-to-one correspondence with the natural numbers. Then that set is called what? Finite set. Okay. So if it does not have one-to-one correspondence, that is, the set should be countable. You should able to count the elements of the set. Then it is called finite set. If you are not able to count the number of elements, then it is called infinite set. Okay. Then see here, there is integers. These are the integers. So we can able to allocate integers to this set elements. Yes or no? Elements of the set. So this is called discrete. Okay. So we will be having continuous and discrete sets also. Continuous sets means we cannot give the integers to that set. Okay. So if you are able to allocate integer to that set, then it is continuous. We are not able to allocate integers to that set, then it is continuous. Here we are able to allocate integers to the elements of this. Okay, then it is called finite discrete set. And if you are able to count that, then it is called finite set. If you are not able to count that, then it is called infinite set. Okay, so the set whose elements cannot be listed, cannot be counted, for which we cannot have one-to-one correspondence with the natural number. So it is uncountable. Okay, set containing never ending elements. So it is having never ending elements. Then that is called infinite set. So set of all the points in the plane. If you take set of all the points in a plane, then it is the infinite set. Okay. And this also we have discussed in the last class. What is cardinal set? So cardinal number of a set is number of elements in a set. Okay, so the element, we have to have number of distinct elements. This is very important. Number of distinct elements in a given set is called cardinal number of a set, and we denote it as n of a, and we read it as number of elements of set. Okay, so here you see it is 1 2 3 4. Number of elements of a will be equal to 4 here. Okay, now you take this, the set of integers in the word algebra. See, in this algebra, a is repeated 2 times, but when you are writing the set elements, you have to consider a only once. If it is repeated n number of times also, we have to consider only once, because it is number of distinct elements. Okay, so you have to take only distinct elements, not repeated elements. Okay, so here we will be taking only a one time, so that number of elements, even though here you see how many letters are there. If you have 7 letters, even though, then your cardinal number will be equal to 6 only. Okay, what is an equivalent set? Equivalent set is that the two sets A and B are said to be equivalent if the cardinal number of set A is equal to cardinal number of set B. Here it is not required to have the same elements. Here you see here, the number elements of A is not equal to elements of B. Only what is the condition here? The number of elements in A should be equal to number of elements in B. Okay. Then what is then? We call it as equivalent set. How do we represent this? We represent it by using double arrow. Okay. Here we use double arrow to represent the equivalent set. Okay. Then what is equal set? Equal set is nothing but here along with the cardinal numbers of two sets, the elements of set should also be same. Okay, so then the sets are said to be equal set. See here, A is having P, Q, R, S, whereas B is having the same elements but not in the same order. But see here, whatever elements you have in A, the same elements are present in B. Okay, then these two sets are said to be equal set. Okay, what is disjoint set? Okay, so if two sets are said to be disjoint, if they do not have any element in common. Okay, for example, you take this example, see this video. Okay, so A is given like this. A is given like this. Okay, so it is given as 1, 2, 3. Okay, then B is given as 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are some elements are common. Then these two are not disjoint. Okay, if the elements are not common, then it is called disjoint. For example, if C is equal to, okay, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, these two are A is disjoint, AC are disjoint sets, BC is also disjoint set. Whereas AB is not disjoint, okay, because 2 and 3 is common in AB. That is why AB is not disjoint, whereas BC and AC are the disjoint sets. Okay. Is it clear? Any doubts here? Okay. So then what is a subset? Equal sets we have discussed. What is subset? Subset is nothing but, for example, you have set A. Okay. Set A is given as like this 1, 2, 3. Okay. Set B is given as 1, 2, 3. Okay. So whatever elements are present in A, the same elements are present in B. Okay. Every element of A is also element of B. Then how do you write this? These two are equal now. Yes or no? If it is equal, then only you have this equal sign. See here, this line, equal sign we get. A is subset of B. Okay. And since every element of B is also element of A, B is also subset of A. If A is subset of B, B is also subset of A, then what we call it as? We call it as A is equal to B. Okay. So where A is equal to B. Now, for example, C is equal to, C is given like this. C value is given like this. Okay. C is having at least one value which is not present in A. It is having only extra 4. C is having only 4 extra in this. Okay. Then we call it as A is proper subset of C. A is proper subset of C because uh, C is not subset of A now. Since C is having one element, extra element in C compared with A, now C is not subset of A. So what is A? Now A is proper subset of C. Is it clear? And what is superset? Superset is just reverse of subset. Okay. So here we have written A is subset of B. No. Now B is superset of B. Whenever A is subset of B, now B is superset of A. We write it as B is superset. Superset symbol is just a reverse of subset symbol. Okay. Is it clear? Now universal set. A set which contains all elements of other given set is called universal set. Okay. The symbol for denoting universal set is U. We use U or sometimes we use S also. S is used to represent universal set and we also use U to represent universal set. Okay. So here, for example, you take here A is equal to 1 to 3, B is equal to 2, 3, 4, C is equal to 3, 4, 5. Then what is universal set of all these three sets? See here the set should not contain distinct elements. It will contain only distinct element. set does not contain repeated values. Okay, so whereas you see here A, B, if you see A, B, 2, 3 is repeated, Mama. 2 and 3 is repeated. Yes or no? When you are writing universal set, 2, 3 we will be writing only one time because set will have only the distinct values. Here also see 3. 3 is repeated 3 times. In A it is there, in B is also there, it is there in C also. But we have to represent only once. Okay. Because universal set will have only distinct elements. It will not have any repeated elements. Is it clear? Okay. So now examples of set, we have discussed this in the last class. Okay. This example we have discussed in the last class. We'll take one example now. Okay. So before going to this, we take one example. See this video. You should unmute yourself and answer the question. Okay. For example, A is given like this. One second, students. మార్కర్ బాబు మార్కర్ పెన్ కాదు సిద్ధు ఓకే 1 3 5 7 okay. A is 1 3 5 7 where B is equal to 1 2 3 so on. Okay, where C is equal to, it is given like this, 0.5 less than C less than or equal to 8.5. Okay, where D is equal to 0 0. Okay, and E is equal to minus 0.5 less than E less than or equal to 12.2 and F is equal to, can you see F? Yes. Okay. Say for example, it is given like this. F we don't take. Now can you tell me what is A? A is nothing but, anybody, can you tell me, is it finite or infinite set? Unmute yourself.
Finite set, ma'am.
It is a finite set. Okay, and it is also discrete, no? It is discrete. Okay, so A is finite and discrete set, and we have discussed there are two ways to represent set. Is it tabular method of representation or rule based method, rule specified method of representation? A, anybody?
Tabular, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. It is tabular method of representation. Okay, so it is tabular method of representation and it is discrete and it is finite. Okay, and B,
Doubt on
if you have any doubts,
okay.
you have any doubts? Okay. And B, you see, ma, B is infinite. B is infinite. Okay, so and is it discrete? It is discrete because 1 2 3 we can count. Okay, so if you are able to count, then it is discrete. Okay, it is infinite and it is discrete way of representation. See students, if meeting is ended, you have to restart, join the meeting with the class 2 on set theory. Okay, so B is again discrete and it is also tabular specified method of representation, and it is infinite because we cannot count. Okay, it is infinite number of elements. Okay, and what is C? Can you see here C? C is it tabular way of representation or rule based method of representation? What is C? Is it tabular way of representation or rule-based method of representation? Anybody? Hello, students.
Rule based, ma'am.
Yeah, it is rule-based method of representation. Okay. So C is rule-based method of representation. Is it continuous or discrete? Is it continuous set or discrete set?
Continuous.
It is continuous set because after 0.5 we can have 0.50001. We don't know what is the after decimal point, how many values we have to consider. Okay, so it is not discrete, it is continuous. Okay, and it is continuous way. And how many elements it has? It is infinite, we cannot count. Because there is only the 0.5 to 8.5 is given. Okay, so either we can take, for example, okay, we can take like this 0.5, 0.50001. So after decimal point, we can take infinite number of points. Okay, so that is why this is continuous. Okay, and infinite number of elements in this. Okay, what is D? What is D? Is that finite or infinite? D is what?
Finite set, ma'am.
It is finite set. It is not null set. What is null set? Do you know what is null set? Null set is nothing but F will be having no elements. This is called null set. Okay. If it is having any one element also, here what is that? We have only one element with the element value is equal to 0. Okay. So this is finite set, whereas F is null set. Okay. Is it clear? Then what is E? E is also continuous way of representation. What method of representation here we have used? We have used rule-based method. It is not yes or no? Rule-based, no? It is rule-based method and it is also continuous, and it will be having infinite number of elements. Is it clear? Okay. Now can you tell me whether A is subset of B? A is subset of B, no?
Yes, ma'am.
A is also subset of what? A is also subset of, yes ma'am. A is subset
C.
C, very good. And it is also subset of E also, yes or no? A is subset of C, B as well as C and E, yes or no? And see here, C is subset of E, yes or no? C is subset of E, and D is also what, ma'am? D is subset of which element? Which set?
E, ma'am.
Very good. D is subset of E. Yes. Now you see here, B and E. B and E are not subset of any other sets. Okay. B is not subset of any other set, and E is also not subset of any other set. Can you tell me what is F? F is subset of which set?
Every set, ma'am.
Very good. F is subset of every set. Okay. So null set will be subset of all sets. Okay. So for example, so that is why if you have n elements in a set, for example, we have n elements in a set, how many subsets we have? If you have n elements in a set, okay, how many subsets will be having? 2 power n number of subsets will be having for that particular set.
N plus.
No. See, n elements you have in a set, for example. So in this set, how many elements we have? 4 elements. You know, how many subset will be having? 2 power 4. So how many subsets will be having totally? 16 subsets. Okay. So that is null set is one set and only with element 1. Okay. Only with element 3. Like that, if you go on write what are possible subsets for set A, how many subsets will be having totally is 16. That is 2 power n number of subsets are possible for any set with the elements n. Is it clear? Any doubts? This is important point. You just know that if n is the number of elements, if n is number of elements in a set, okay, how many subsets are possible? 2 power n number of subsets are possible for that particular element. Okay, and you should also know that null set is subset of all the sets. Null set is subset of all the sets. Okay, is it clear, students? So now we'll discuss what are the operations of set. Okay, so usually to discuss the operations on set, we use Venn diagram. You know what is Venn diagram? Venn diagram is nothing but representation of sets by closed plane figures. We are using closed plane figures to represent the sets. Okay, so that type of representation is called Venn diagram. Okay, and usually we will be having the elements, no, in a set. The elements will be represented by the points in that closed plane. Okay, so closed plane we use to represent the set. Okay, that type of representation is called Venn diagram. Okay, the elements of set will be enclosed in that plane with the points. Okay, so like that we'll be representing the sets. Okay, so we have discussed that there are we have a universal set, Mama. We have universal set. Okay, so what is universal set? Universal set will be having all possible outcomes of a particular event. Okay, so that is called universal set. So in the case of Venn diagram, how do we represent universal set? Universal set will be represented with rectangular box. Okay, so this is the universal set. You can use U or S to represent the universal set. So this is universal set. Okay, now we have a set A. We'll be representing set A like this. For example, we have set B. We'll be representing set B like this. So all the elements of set A, for example, A is equal to like this. It is having 1, 2, 3. All elements of set A will be represented like a points in this. Okay, so all elements of set B, for example, it is having 5, 6, will be represented here. This is set A, this is set B. Okay, and since these two does not have any element in common, then what is that? These two sets are called disjoint sets. Yes, sir. These two sets are called disjoint sets. Okay, so define union. How do you define union? Union is nothing but, okay, it will say, for example, if you are finding the union of two sets A and B, which consist of all the elements of A and all the elements of B. So no element will be repeated. We have discussed that. Whenever you are writing a set, you should not take repeated elements. We will be writing only distinct elements in the set. Okay, so and here, one second. Okay, so here we first will be we have discussed what is equal sets. Equal sets we have discussed. No, what is different set now? Difference between two sets. Difference between two sets is nothing but A and B. Okay, if you have two sets A and B, such that, see here, all of you. For example, we have two sets A and B. So what is the difference? How do you write A minus B? We'll write it as A minus B. So what is that? So this set will have the only the elements present in A which is not present in B. Okay, we have discussed that some of the elements in A will present in B also. For example, like this, we have two sets. Okay, it is having 1, 2 common, here 3. Now can you tell me what is set A elements? What are the set A elements now?